it sounded so good. Welcome, everyone. This is the Lakers Fast Break Nightcap with your host, Joe Soro, and my world champion tag team partner, Mr. Mark Xbox, aka Happy Australia Day. And it's a three-man team with his, what is that, porridge? Magic Man Sean Grace, everyone. He is here. He is he's here. He's here.
It's crushed pie.
What are you eating, boy?
Gerald would have had a conniption if I had said that one. Well, again, welcome, Sean. Welcome, Mark. Thank you for being here tonight. I wanted to get in on a nightcap tonight because it's been neglected a little bit, but that's what happens when we have great shows after the games. It's like, well, what else do you have left? But we had some interesting topics here this last half day, Sean. Some basketball related, some not. We will be talking a lot about it. We will be talking about the Lakers, of course, before tomorrow's game. And I happen to have the Denver game here.
I just hope Gerald's ready because I think I might just go over the line and get a YouTube strike tonight.
Oh no.
We've gotten really good at not getting ourselves in a situation where it is going that way. Yes, Roy, go Dodgers, baby. Tomorrow is a big day. Tomorrow's pretty much.
I might not be able, Joe. I'm just saying I might not be able to help myself.
It's okay. Well, see, the thing is, I'm about the show, and sometimes if you want the show to work, you got to get outside the coloring lines.
The box.
Yes, absolutely. So we're gonna enjoy ourselves tonight. I don't know if we're gonna go an hour or two. It just will depend on conversation. But we do have. I just finished watching the Denver Philly game. It looks like Denver squeaked away with Jokic's last second shot. They were up by 3, and then the Sixers weren't able to convert there at the end. So Denver. Right now, I was hoping we could get another game on them, but unfortunately, we're still stuck with 19 losses like Denver.
Man, yeah.
But we'll talk more about that here in a minute. I wanted to start the show off a little bit about what the Lakers need to do tomorrow to. I don't know. What would you say? It's a major upset if they win tomorrow in New York. Is LeBron going to be kind of up for this game? Because usually LeBron always yaps about Madison Square Garden and showing up at Madison Square Garden.
Even without AD, it wouldn't be a huge upset. They're only 4.5, 5 games up on us. So it's not like you're facing a team that's like a couple of tiers ahead of you. Like they're slightly better than we are. They have much more talent, and they're slightly better than we are. Imagine if we had like 2 or 3 of their players on our team.
Oh, bro. Yeah, like Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
Or Brunson. Or take your pick. Imagine Cat and AD together.
Well, we could have had that if the NBA decided that they wanted to become the NFL with their stupid let's make everybody have an equal opportunity to win. I don't know what to make of tomorrow's game. I think it's a game that
you can't get run out of the Garden in the first quarter. If the Knicks score like 40, 42 points, that's going to be a problem.
I'm seeing some things develop here, and I'm gonna kind of make light of it a little bit. The end of the year yips are starting to show itself. You're starting to see the continuous kind of regression of Dalton Connect, which is somewhat understandable because he's a rookie. You're also starting to see, I know that they scored points in these Washington-Charlotte games, but I don't put any stock in those games, unfortunately, because we're not the Lakers are not here to beat Charlotte and Washington and pat each other on the back. But how is the the Max Christie's and the Knicks and the Jackson Hayeses, how are they going to provide any substance to these teams when they play them or against these?
You mix those two up, but they pretty much had the same haircut when they both played.
Yeah, and one of them, it doesn't have that anymore. So take a lesson from that, Max. Get rid of the
the cauliflower.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Doug Christie, if it was alopecia or
more often than not, it's called the shoe. It's the shoehorn bald, effect.
No, it was weird to me. You know, it was always weird to me. Mike Bibby had hair in Vancouver and Memphis, but as soon as he got traded to the Kings, it's almost as if he became like a white chocolate clone. Like he shaved his head like Jason. He kind of he tried to take on a little bit of his persona. That's why I always felt that when they made that trade, that was the best trade the Lakers were never involved in, because they traded away their most dynamic point guard they ever had, and that includes De'Aaron Fox. And they got back a pretty good player that got, like Joe and other Laker fans have said, Mike Bibby got a lot of his big contracts based off his performances against Derek Fisher in the playoffs.
Between Mike Bibby and Troy Hudson in Minnesota, I think they should have sent a care package of cash to Derek Fisher. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that that's the ongoing discussion, especially around that time, especially considering Derek Fisher was the reason why he shot so well the back half of his career was because he broke his foot in 01 and ended up shooting nonstop and ended up becoming a good shooter. And in that year against San Antonio, I believe he shot 16 of 20 in the Western Conference Finals matchup with the Lakers against the San Antonio Spurs. And that season, that last like month, not even a month, maybe 3 weeks plus playoffs. I mean, you guys have heard me say this, the most dominating performance I've ever seen. And it tailed into the beginning of November as well as through December until Shaq got hurt in 2020 in the first few months of the next season. The most dominating basketball team I've ever seen, and I've seen the 72-10 Bulls. I know that you can, there's definitely an argument that team could have beaten anybody, but I have never seen 39-2 in a calendar year in 2 different seasons. That was just that's just not unheard of. Two losses out of 41 games, meaningful games, playoff and regular season. Guys, Laker fans saw 2 losses from end of March till middle of December. Just put that in your head for a minute. 2 meaningful losses. That's all we saw in 10 months. In 10 months, you only saw 2 losses. But
take me back, baby.
Not like it has to be said, like just for the record, it's impressive. 2 non-consecutive seasons.
But it's, to me, in a lot of ways, it's more impressive because they never. Usually, you break. We talk about All-Star break or a bye
inevitably,
week,
if you've won 7 in a row and the All-Star break game happens, it happens. Yeah.
Is that the best though, or someone else done? Because I remember even like Phoenix a couple of years ago had a pretty good streak. I think it was during the bubble or something like that. Like, yeah, you know how you're sort of talking 39 wins out of 41 games. Have any other team done something similar?
It's an outlier, though. It really is. It's like that rarely happens.
Well, the Heat won 27 in a row. Obviously, the Lakers at 72 won 33 in a row. I don't know anyone that's dominated like that. or of course the Bulls in
What about Golden
96.
State? Did they win? They won, and then they went 72 and
Golden
whatever it was.
State had an amazing run of 73-9. There have been amazing runs, but I don't remember 2 losses in 10 months in 2 separate
Gotcha.
seasons. Usually a break means there's a new setup here. These guys never really missed a beat. And I wonder what the record would have been had they had Shaq not gotten hurt. I mean, maybe it could have gone even further, but it's an amazing feat. It's an amazing feat.
The streak the Cavs went on was kind of an outlier as well. That won't be repeated.
When they were almost undefeated at home, correct?
Yeah.
Is that what we were talking about? Yeah, they were very close to. I think Kobe didn't Kobe and the Lakers break that?
Yes,
they did. That was the week the Lakers were just breaking streaks. They broke.
That was the game Lamar took over, and
yes,
that's why I always felt confident if the Lakers ever played the Cavs in the finals that if you put Lamar on LeBron and worked Kobe and Lamar to pick and roll with Powell, that there's not a chance in hell the Cavs would be able to stop that. So they're like, I like people want to romanticize LeBron and Kobe. There was no LeBron team when Kobe was on the Lakers between 07 to 10 that would have beaten the Lakers. The only swing move was Ron Artest because he almost signed with Cleveland.
Yeah, but he wanted to come play with Kobe, man.
Yeah, but you also have to understand that if we don't have Artest in 2010 as good as Ariza was, there isn't a guy covering Paul Pierce. And I still believe to this day, if the Lakers do not acquire Artest for the 2010 finals alone, they may have lost that. They would have likely lost that final.
Yeah, because Vlad was a fucking 6'9" light post.
Vlad was a disaster. He was a disaster from the beginning.
What would Phil call him after
Space
the
Cadet.
skiing accident? Yeah, Space Cadet.
He also wore Vans to practice.
What? What a loser!
And the thing is, so Vladimir came to his office and said, "I heard you called me a space cadet." that was the response from saying that. And Phil Jackson had an amazing ability to speak through the media to players, and then there was also this amazing ability to just say whatever he wanted to say about certain players that he was coaching.
Funny, man.
I think the funniest one though, and this was a moment of real an issue with Slava Medvedenko. So Slava Medvedenko apparently passed out. I can't remember if it was in practice or in the locker room. I don't know, but he passed out, and word got out. Word got out that he had only had a Snickers bar that day, and they're interviewing Phil, basically asking him, "Hey, what's up? What's going on? How's Slava?" Or they were telling him, "Hey, Slava only had like a Snickers bar." And he goes, "That's a real juvenile dive." I'm like, pounce on the guy. The guy passes out. Who knows what could have happened? And Phil's just like taking a shit on him even more. And that was Phil Jackson. That's why I honestly think that he was probably the most entertaining coach I think I've ever seen.
Oh, when he called rookies no more useful than whale poop, that sealed the deal.
He was adamant too. I remember the interview when they were talking about rookies or high school kids coming to the NBA. He almost looked like he was irritated. That's the stuff that we really miss. And again, one of the most entertaining coaches. It's hard to say he's number one because I lived in the world of Jerry Glanville, and Jerry Glanville was one of the funniest coaches, one of the most entertaining coaches ever.
Is Phil the best, Joe? Is Phil the best coach? Not the funniest, but is he
the most
coach?
entertaining? I would say Joe is correct. I'd say Glenn Bills.
Okay.
Number 1, Jackson. I would put number 2. Jim Mora will be number 3.
This guy out of Boston says some pretty funny stuff.
It was before my time as a grown person. John McKay used to coach the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He also was a national championship coach at USC. He was the one that had the line of the media person said, "Coach, what do you think about your team's execution?" He basically said, "Well, team's execution, well, I'm for it." Like basically saying, I mean, it's a quick response. And John McKay was one of those guys that lived in the Sinatra, Dean Martin, Lucille Ball, the Carol Burnett in her prime days, right? That crowd, if anybody had any wit that they were able to hone in on as they got older, they had a completely different response to certain vernacular, certain vocabulary, certain questions.
Not for nothing, but I always thought Mary Tyler Moore was the funniest out of all them broads.
I don't think anyone on that show wasn't funny. Ed Asner and all those guys were just Dick Van Dyke. Jesus.
Oh, Ed Asner's great. I mean, his work from whenever he started to when he finished off with the Boondocks is Ed Wunsler.
It's just there have been funny ones. Usually they're in football, though. I mean, I know basketball's had a few funny ones too. But football always seemed to have the ones that even Bill Belichick, as dry as he was, that guy made me laugh sometimes. We're on to Cincinnati. Coach, what did you think about? We're on to Cincinnati. Anyways,
I'll send it to the chat. But there's a classic one from up here with hockey. When Team Canada was playing Switzerland and the Canadian media was interviewing the Swiss coach, and they basically asked them, they a really dumb question. They said, so what do you say to your guys in the locker room before you go out? He's like, what do you mean? What do I say to them? Do you know how many first round picks are on Team Canada? You know how many? Do you know how many guys I have in the draft? He said, I have a 4th round pick on my team. They've got 8 first round picks in their first 10 guys on this team. So what do you mean? What am I going to say to them? They're stronger. They're faster. They can skate better than us. What do you want me to say? Oh, you gotta watch it, Joe. It's better coming from him, but it was hilarious.
Those. I don't know, man. They can't even. How do you learn that kind of shtick anymore?
I think you're authentic, or it comes off as really rehearsed and manufactured.
When you're going through a lot of this stuff now, you see all these podcasts. It's one of the reasons why I can't stand the word podcast, because every a-hole who thinks they're interesting has a podcast, and I can't understand how these people have so many numbnuts following them. Every other word, and this is not just a Valley Girl thing anymore. Every other word out of these people's mouths is like. So I went to I went to the store, and then and then I went and bought this, and then I went. I'm just like, shoot me right now. Well, let me shoot
even I use it on occasions.
The thing is, I pulled it out of my daughter's vocabulary. They stopped doing it.
How really, Joe? How long ago?
And it pissed off my wife because I would interrupt them when they're talking. They'd be talking.
And you'd hear
they'd be saying it too much, and I'd be like, and then she'd be like, "Can you let her finish?" No. I will not let her finish. That needs to get out of her vocabulary. I am not going to raise children that are going to be liking all day. Learn how to speak. Learn how to speak. My wife helps children with fine motor skills. I go, you should be supporting me on this, not sitting there making excuses. I said,
Yes.
so either you get on board or you get off. Either way, I'm not having daughters that are going to be liking all day. That's not going to happen. So that's it, folks. Cut out the likes. You look like an ass.
Still hit the likes, but
You want to say it's like this? Yeah. But you're not comparing things at every sentence. What we're talking about is like, so we like went to the store and like watched the basketball game and then like had some drinks. That's not language. Okay. That's a dead brain. That's a dead brain. Think. Focus. Stop talking like that. Yes, parenting lessons. I was born to have children, folks. I was born to raise children. I do not have a problem having children and raising them. I know a lot of people get overwhelmed. I don't get overwhelmed. That's not how the wiring works. And luckily for me, I have two very healthy and very smart and very respectful children. And yes, they know who their dad is. That's the beautiful thing about everything. And when they know who their dad is, that's the ticket. They know who it is. They know how we operate, and they know that it comes from a good place. But going back to that, we ventured from early 2000s Lakers to Family Matters.
Before we segue into the next topic, I have a trivia question from Mr. Joe Soro.
Yes, sir.
So, the February 97 trade deadline, the Lakers made one trade, Joe. What two players were involved in that trade that are former Lakers?
Okay, say that again.
In February 97, the trade deadline, the Lakers made one trade. Name the two players involved that were former Lakers.
That went to the Lakers.
That were former Lakers. So one got traded from the Lakers and one got traded to the Lakers.
So we're talking about Cedric Sabalas and 97.
Robert Hart.
The trade deadline, 97.
Wow, that's a good question. Why don't I remember anything in 97?
No, you were correct. They made a couple of trades in 97, but they only made one at the trade deadline. Wow,
Give us a hint, Sean.
Yeah, that was a huge hint, Mark.
Okay.
Especially for Joe.
Yeah. The hint for me would need to be the first name.
No, I don't want a hint. I don't know it. I can't remember.
Okay. All right. So the Lakers traded Joe Klein to the Nets for George McLeod.
Jeez. George McLeod, another victim of the LA shooting curse. So George McLeod was supposed to be, the guy that can come to LA and be the shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was let's just say his ammo was gone when he got to LA.
He was shooting blanks, folks. He was shooting blanks. Speaking of shooting blanks, Justin Tucker has been in the news lately. Man,
I was wondering when you would have mentioned that. Okay, guys, let's Sean, remind everybody of this. Maybe some people don't know, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, just to give everyone a refresher, or if you're new and haven't been paying attention, the former All-Pro kicker for the NFL's Baltimore Ravens, Justin Tucker, has been in the news recently about allegations regarding sexual harassment. Several, and I mean several, 6 massage therapists have come forward, and they all basically tell the same tale about how Justin Tucker became acquainted with their business, his behavior when he went to the establishment, what he left behind. And he's in a lot of trouble because most of these stories seem to line up. And the trouble is that he's been compared now to Deshaun Watson, Joe, because a lot of the allegations made against Watson were made by credible women who all told a similar story about the circumstances, how he was acquainted, and it's pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with it, Mark?
Yeah, well, I was reading, and obviously it's sort of on the back of that is obviously previously with Deshaun Watson, which I do know about, Joe, and I've read a little bit about what Sean put out there. So I don't know as much as you boys, so I'll let you guys fly on it. But
Justin Tucker likes that.
Yeah, like I'm a bit of a fun character, and I've had my fun in my time. It's certainly not that, but yeah, for me, to treat one person one way, you've got to treat everyone the same. And I'm not sure if that's where the discussion's going to go. But whether or not this Justin bloke's been treated like Deshaun was, I'm not sure about that overall conversation, guys. But what's
Justin
going on?
Tucker likes.
Guys, yeah, but man, when you got that much money, you can pay for things discreetly and stuff like that. So I don't know what this bloke's doing. I find it very strange, but I'll let you guys cook on it because it's obviously a big topic that's going around.
Well, see, what's the irony of this is really something to behold, because the image of somebody like that who comes across clean cut, seems to get along with teammates, and then all of a sudden you hear about this, and somehow, some way, man, I don't know what it is. What's really interesting to me is that money and fame, it doesn't change you. It manifests who you really are, just on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
So if these allegations are true, this guy is. Yeah.
Shout out to Tom Green.
Freddie
got fingered.
He likes getting his oil checked.
That's insane, man.
Yeah,
that's insane when I read that.
Checked.
But you've got, I don't know, man. When people do that and expose themselves like that, it's more to it.
Well, Kanye exposed himself for that when Amber Rose came out and said, "Yeah, Kanye likes fingers up his ass."
Yeah, then Kanye's also walking around with some of the hottest chicks in the world. So.
Look,
allegedly.
I've come on tonight.
The subject has come about. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys a small story here. It's a small story, and I'm going to try to keep it as discreet as possible since the subject has already been brought up. Okay, I'm going to tell it real quick. Hopefully, it's entertaining.
Gerald's going to need the censor button a lot tonight.
I think I'm going to be able to do this without it being overboard. So I had a discussion with a friend of mine. She tried to convince me that this is normal. And for 2 hours, because she grew up with my best friend, like they went to Torrey Pines High in San Diego. We're all friends. We've been friends for years, right? We all hang out when we go out, and that's how the relationship is. She's also my landscape broker, so she takes care of my insurances and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's great person, great. Everyone loves her and very eccentric, very kind of open with how she likes things. Very, very, let's say, 21st century woman. Love her to death. But she was trying to convince me for 2 hours. And you guys know how I am. Once, you all know me. You ain't got to convince me of anything when it comes to dudes doing things. I'm very strict on that stuff because that tells a lot of things. So she's trying to convince me, Joe, this and that, and in the moment and this. And I'm just like, we're having drinks and we're all having a good time. And I'm like, no, and no, and no, and no. And I'm like, when are you gonna listen? When are you gonna pay attention? Man. And I went to prison verbiage. I went to Blue Oyster visitors from police academy, like all this discussions. I'm like, Mel, her name's Melissa. I said, Mel, listen, I don't know how many times I got to say this to you. This don't work with real dudes. I want you to understand this. I'm going to keep it PG here. This don't work. Now, y'all do what you want to do. That's cool. Hey, that's your business as long as you don't tell me about it. Hey, sorry, guys. That's just not going to... What did Randy Jackson say? That's just not going to work for me, dog. That's a no for me, dog. That's a no for me forever. Oh, and there ain't no experiments either. Okay? There is no experiment. There will never be an experiment, and that experiment should be exiled in my book. If you're a real, in my book. Vodka water. Yeah, again, we can get real with that, but I get this is Gerald's show. At the end of the day, maybe on my show here that's going to be coming here probably in the next few months. Maybe we might have to maybe delve into that a little bit, maybe not. But here's the problem.
Hey, was that an original pun, or did you just come up with that?
I'm sorry. Sometimes they just. I was going to say sometimes they just come out. I don't even remember what I just said. You caught it before I even remembered it. It's unfortunate. See, here's the issue. The difference. So Bob Kraft. The difference between Robert Kraft.
I almost went there, Gerald. Save yourself.
It's okay. I think we made it. I think we did it. Plus, Gerald's from Vegas. He knows that there's a lot of weird stuff over there. He's used to it. Not him. I'm talking about him seeing weird stuff. So there's.
Well, I mean, like there's even weirder stuff in the Justin Tucker. If you want to continue down them.
Oh no doubt. There's a lot of things, but let's
like you're getting a massage. Okay, I'm going here. All right. So you're getting a massage, and you decide you're going to leave your man gravy on the table.
Ah, bro.
What? That's what he did. Did,
man. Who's this bloke then? Sort him out. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
There's issue. Oi, I'm gonna tell you something right now, okay? In the 90s, man, we had a rugby league player called John Hopewadi.
Okay.
Bro, yeah, he got suspended for a year because he was doing that to guys on the field, man.
What?
So he was tackling them, and then he was putting, his finger. Bro, look it up, man. Can you believe that happened on a rugby league field? But nonetheless,
crazy.
Guys, I think Joe summed it up well.
That's crazy. That's crazier. That's crazier than biting somebody's ear off. Actually,
yeah. Honestly,
I would rather just bite my ear,
dude.
I would rather have none, and you are going to have a hellacious waking up in the hospital. moment.
Well,
Oh, you're
if
gonna.
you wake up.
Yeah, that's right.
There was
Sometimes
always
you don't get wake
there
up
was a
in the
clear
morning.
discussion. There was a clear discussion years ago in college, because you know how college kids get, especially drunk college boys. I remember I made it very clear. I said, listen, y'all can do, look, if any of us pass out, I go, you want to put string on my head? You want to put whipped cream
Yeah.
on my eyebrows? Fine. You do any alternative lifestyle stuff on me, I will find you, and I will make sure your family is there, and your friends, and your girlfriend if you have one, or whatever it is, and you will never ever get rid of me. I go, that is the one thing you will never do. And everyone knew kind of how I was. They knew I meant it, and luckily everybody listened. I said, I'm never gonna do that stuff. So you all know that. I said, and even the whipped cream and the stuff like that, like I don't do that crap. That's not what I. When I was in the
That's
even
really,
even when I was in the fraternity, I didn't
Right.
do.
I'm gonna
Ground and
use
pound.
the context of the word here. I really like that garbage song called "Queer," and that's a lot what that stuff sounds like, Joe.
It is, and it was very clear that we don't do what you just said. So luckily, I had good people around me, and they didn't. Now, as far as Justin Tucker's concerned, there's I don't know what to think, honestly, because I don't know if it's true yet. Are we supposed to just believe it right away? I don't know. I'm not there yet. Deshaun Watson, you saw his demeanor.
They're just allegations. I mean, we were discussing Terry Rozier the other night. I mean, are you really going to tell? And you brought this up, Joe. He's made over 100+ million in his NBA career thus
Yeah.
far. Are you really going to tell me that for an extra few shekels from some boys in a gang or some hoods,
Mm.
threw you some money and you decide to hurt it, you could say your foot got hurt and you could only play 5 minutes? I don't believe that personally. Just off a gut feeling, even though it's the feds, and usually if it's the feds, you're federally fucked. That's the old saying. Um, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
don't know, Sean.
I
Like,
don't
yeah,
believe you'd throw your career away for that,
yeah,
Joe.
man.
And Mark, I don't believe that.
I've seen it in Australia with athletes here in Australia, man, because gambling's been a lot more prevalent here than it has for you guys for many, many years. You can't. Gambling is an addiction,
Yeah,
and
man.
he might not have even. It's not sometimes not about the money. It's about the thrill. It's about the bet. It's the the endorphin in here.
It's called chasing it.
Yeah, spot on. And there's no, yeah. I mean, you look at even some of the Australian rules football players and stuff that have been got in trouble. Man, they're on big coin. They're betting like $100 to win $500 and shit. You're just like, but yeah, it's the thrill of we don't understand addiction in
Mark,
that sense.
can rugby players be paid in Bitcoin?
No, no.
Neither can
Like
NFL
Bitcoin,
players, and they've tried it.
gotcha.
Have Australian rugby players tried that? Like getting
Well, no, like Bitcoin's just not really a thing here. You know how sort of in America and Canada you can sort of purchase a lot of things with Bitcoin. It's
well, the
not
guy who
really.
invented Bitcoin is from Canada, eh?
Oh, there you go. But yeah, just with Terry, man,
What's that
that's
smirk for,
not good.
sir? Wipe that smirk off your face.
You're that guy that always says they're Canadian. That's where they came. That's where it all came from.
The Canada, they can.
I like how we
Chemistry
share the
was
word
made in
"hey."
Canada, and then you'll have some Arab guy coming. Arabs
Yeah.
made calculus.
By the
and
way,
then,
everything Trump said today about Canada is untrue.
Don't go there.
We don't have a drug problem. We're not bringing drugs into the United States.
I prefer Bill Burr's
Pardon me, sorry.
commentary about Canada. It's like when everyone would comment about how we're gonna move to Canada, he goes, "Dude, guys, Canada is not this like diverse utopia like you all think it is. I mean, there's still white people up there who drink beer." I'm paraphrasing, but you all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's an invisible line, guys. What difference does it make, right? But
That's
going
funny,
back to this situation with the addiction issues. Lamar Odom. Remember, I told you the story about it's on YouTube. Actually, you can find it. Lamar Odom had a gambling issue because Lamar Odom has addiction issues. A lot of
Yeah.
times, addicts have addiction issues, and they'll go from one thing to another. So for
Yeah.
Lamar, he'd eat all those candies, right? Then he didn't eat the candies. Then he went into gambling. There's always some kind of an addiction. Obsessive compulsive disorder. Is that what they call it in the psych terms? So I love this story because there's other things tied to it. It was after Kobe passed, and Lamar was talking about Kobe, and he had talked about Kobe in his dream and all that, but his gambling situation. So what happened was, for those of you who haven't heard this, he got into a really bad spot where he owed a lot of money, and he didn't know what the hell to do. So he calls up Kobe, and he said Kobe gave him the riot act. I mean, he just cussed him up and down. And he said, all right, somebody's going to call you and take care of this for you. And of course, Kobe took care of it. And I think the guy that interviewed Lamar asked him, like, well, did you pay it back? He goes, damn right I had to pay him back. Like, you had to pay every dollar back to Kobe, and got him out of his situation. And then he had talked about something else too. He had talked about how he had Kobe in his dream. And I guess there's a really eerie line where he goes, Kobe told Lamar, he goes, hey man, the afterlife isn't what you think it is. And that was kind of the dream. I think about that once in a while. It's pretty crazy how that kind of goes off.
Lamar had a bad run there for a while, like what he went.
Oh yeah, it was bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And dating a Kardashian wasn't exactly the best
No.
remedy. That was probably when I really started to. I don't even know if dislike is the word. It's kind of in between hate and dislike.
Yeah.
I don't. Look, I'm not a guy that. Look, a grown ass man makes his own decisions, and I get that.
Yeah.
But man, that family is so disgusting to me.
Yeah, man.
That it's hard for me to separate it sometimes.
Yeah,
Lamar was the breaking point for me. Even though it was his fault, even though he made that decision and he should deal with the consequences of that, but not to almost die after that. Like, it just, those guys are, there's just some people that have there's a cancer that's attached to them. That family is cancer to me.
You think about how Kim got her, how she got famous, man.
Well,
and that was her mum promoting that.
Yeah, and that's part of the beginning of all that. That's kind of the accumulation of the disgust.
Yeah.
And it's sad too because she was gorgeous.
Oh, mate.
Oh my God! When I first saw her,
I know.
When I first saw her with Paris, I'm like, "Who is that?"
Dude, everyone was like, "Who's that?"
That. We're talking about girls and sending pictures. I'm like, that is
like
what
your dream girl, man.
Yeah, that's kind of my peeps. The Middle Eastern side of things, like that's what they're supposed to look like.
Hell yeah!
And then over the years, it just got drained. It got drained to what it is now, and it's unfortunate that you're.
And then you've got girls like you were talking about your daughters before saying like it, and they look up to someone like Kim Kardashian, man. It's hard to understand how that's happened.
And that happens when there is a missing piece at home. See, if my kids or anyone in my circles wants to admire something, because I'm vocal, because I judge, I'm a judger. It's what I do. I judge because it's about protection.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's what society calls it. I call it identifying. It's very, 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 I don't even know the last time I judged something wrong in terms of someone's personality. That's just, you're not going to get me on that one. As soon as I find out what you are, it's over. Like, I already know that's what you are. You're just not going to get past it. So
You do know people.
What happens is when you're now, this is my family. This is my
Yeah.
family and my friends. Yeah, no, guys, sorry. That right there is not going to work. And if you're going to admire that garbage, then you're going to be in trouble. Not from me. You're going to be in trouble in life, and then people automatically understand. Look, it's just what it is. You're going to have to understand.
That's
That's me, Sam. That's me.
Is that you, Joey?
Yeah. Here, let me. I'll take us off the stream real quick, Mark, and people will see what it looks like. Hold on.
That's so good, man.
So I took that picture.
The
I took that picture. I had no idea it was going to look that good. Somehow I was able to take half the face in a mirror that's in my hallway at night, and it freaking popped.
Yeah, that looks sick.
And I'm like, damn, I didn't know it was going to look like that. So I was pretty happy with it. Oh, wow. Is that true, Kurt? Oh,
funny.
my God.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
Could you imagine if we had traded
Raphael.
for him and this happened?
Man, yeah, true. In hindsight, good point. But
Danny, I don't think
it's a horrific injury.
I don't think Jerry Jones is ever going to go to jail for anything because he runs he's too big over there. Bob Kraft got caught with these happy handies, and although he wasn't doing anything wrong, he just got caught up in it.
Joe, did you see the score tonight in the Spurs game? 144 to 118, man. It's a lot of points. Far out.
Wow.
That was against Bucks too. Like.
So what did Wemby get in that game?
Yeah, well, Wemby, like Giannis top scored, but Wemby I think had about 30 or 28.
Oh, it was evenly spread out. Keldon Johnson had 24 off the bench. So Wemby had 30 points, 14 rebounds, 6 blocks. Man, that guy's
well, no wonder he got the All-Star.
And 31 minutes.
Hey, I don't know if you touched on this, Joe, and I don't mean to sidetrack, but what did you think about the All-Star game itself, we might not enjoy anymore, blah, blah, blah. But just talking about selections, did you think that ball should have got a gig?
Every year as somebody gets snubbed.
Gotcha.
It's not something that's
who cares?
Out of the norm. Yeah. Damian Lillard didn't get picked for years.
Yeah.
Because there weren't enough guards. There's too many good guards in the West. Booker didn't get picked probably because his team stinks. Welcome back, Sean. I hope your fridge was rated well. What are those? Blueberries?
Funny as.
Blackberries.
Blackberries, yes.
Oh.
So I'm a blackberry guy. Love them. However,
good too.
There's this yogurt called Fage or something. It's spelled Fage.
Yeah.
And it's the closest yogurt that my family used to make, like in the house, right? So I'm eating it with the blackberry or with the pomegranates. But then there was some leftover. I'd run out of blackberries. I'd run out of, or I hadn't had the pomegranates cut up yet. There was a little bit of a container that my wife put in the fridge of blackberries. And usually I don't eat blackberries by themselves. It's not my favorite fruit. I can eat them, but it's not my favorite fruit. So I'm like, I got to put some fruit in this. So just to kind of have some stuff. And of course, blueberries are great antioxidants, all that stuff. So I put it into the yogurt. And I mean, I'm like, wow, this hits. So blackberries with really good yogurt, not the sugary yogurt. The one that's more kind of like a sour, because that too much sugar in yogurt. Huh?
I like
Greek yogurt. Yeah.
I like Greek yogurt.
Yeah, Greek yogurt. You get a lot of protein out of it. And it kind of gives you that texture of like you're eating ice cream a little bit.
I like Oikos myself. I like Oikos.
Okay. Those are good too. The
true Greek yogurt really doesn't taste like much though. So yeah, adding like blackberry and stuff to it or blueberry is just perfect.
Yeah, Raphael, if it was non-contact, that's usually scary. That means that the Achilles, if it's the Achilles area, it popped.
See, Joe, you always struck me as a mango guy.
Hey, I'm from the mango state.
Mango, I like when the mango is kind of like my apples. I like it I don't like them soft. I like them
firm.
Kind of almost you can hear the mango being eaten. So yeah, mango
fruit?
is definitely one of my favorites as well.
The dried ones Costco sells are amazing.
Oh yeah. Is mango's really big in Queensland and Australia? Is it big where you guys are?
They eat a lot of mango here.
They're
Gotcha.
big in the Philippines.
Yeah, mango is very big here. Pineapple is important too. Although pineapple is
love pineapple.
kind of like blueberries to me. I can eat it, but it's not my favorite. But hella good for you. Hella good for you. Pomegranates are always going to be my favorite fruit.
Bananas, man, apples.
Banana, like when it's about to turn complete yellow.
I believe the pomegranate is from your part of the world, my friend.
Yeah, me or
Sean,
Joe?
you got to try this. Hold on, I got to say this. So another important food from my area is dates.
I love dates.
So there was this thing that pulled up. This is why this is the good part of the social media thing, and this is the part I try to stick to. Unfortunately, the algorithm still sends these skanky things to my phone because they want the whole mail thing, whatever. And it's gotten so bad, guys, that I'm getting messages on my Signal, on my WhatsApp, and of course I know right away it's some skank, right? Sorry, 304s for the
Can you forward me those messages?
Dude, it's probably some guy with hairy knuckles. But it always starts out with hi, right? Hi, right away I know because I get text messages from potential clients. Sometimes it's somebody that I'm working with in aggregate or supplies, whatever, right? That I talked to last week. So, but as soon as I see the hi, I'll play it safe sometimes. Sometimes I'll go off right out of the gate. Like, who is this? Why are you messaging me? Fuck off. But when I placate it, I'll go, who is this? Who is this? Hi, this is Susie. How you doing? I'm like, fuck off, skank. I'm married. And then I'll block her or block him.
I have to admit, Mark, I've also gone all out blister on somebody like trying to sell me something or some, like Joe said, some skank. You
guys and your lingos. I gotta do a clap for that one.
Very creative, Boomer.
See how long it takes?
Not long at all with our group.
By the way, passion fruit is actually pretty good.
Yeah, good call.
Not the one that they're talking about. I'm talking about the real one.
Hey, kiwi fruit. Expect that too.
I bet you guys didn't think we'd be talking about the juice.
What does it taste like? I've never had passion fruit.
It's damn good. It's damn good. It's like a kiwi. The dragon fruit one is the best.
Dragon fruit? I love dragon fruit.
Yeah, it's like a non-tasting kiwi, but it's hella good for you.
Oi, boys, grapes? Do you like grapes?
Grapes are good.
You prefer?
I love the Concord grapes.
Gotcha.
I like the sour green ones if I had to pick.
Yeah.
Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just because I'm kind of bored, I'll actually scrape the skin off the grape and eat it, and then eat the grape.
That's suck out.
When I would
mandarins?
Eat back in the day when I would eat Three Musketeers, I'd always eat the chocolate first before I get to is it a nougat, whatever that is?
Three Musketeers. We don't have that here. I heard
you don't want to eat any candy anymore from America, dude.
Oh,
candy in America had the Three Musketeers, the Snickers, all of them have gone to garbage, man. You're eating them. I'm like, I don't remember them tasting like this.
I should have eaten a Mars bar today because Mary Ann Faithful died.
They're still on Mars balls. It's just Snickers with almond now. They don't sell Mars bars anymore here.
The real killer I recommend is these sugary drinks and stuff. Hey,
what do you mean, Joe?
So you remember the Mars bar, right?
Yeah.
It says Mars on it, right?
Chocolate and caramel.
Right. Well, it's with the almond. Mars bar was with the almond,
Mm-hmm.
right? They changed it to just Snickers with almonds, but that used to be a Mars bar.
Oh, for real?
Hmm. Back in the day.
Back in the day.
Hmm.
You're
It might have
talking
been
like
20, 25 years ago. Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
A 90, yeah, 90. So certainly in the 2000s.
I always like Butterfinger.
Butterfinger. Oh, we don't have. I've seen that, Sean. Is that like hard candy? Like it's
No,
chocolate and then hard? Oh, sorry.
no,
No,
it's like
gotcha. It's yellow, isn't it?
no, it's like a chocolate that could think of like a chocolate graham.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's always the last chocolate candy I eat from Halloween.
Okay.
It's not the best, but it's still, you can eat it. It's kind of like the Crunch bar too,
Crunch.
with the crisp. Yeah.
Oh man. Do you have
It
Curly
doesn't.
Whirly?
We don't have any of those. No.
Ah, bro. We got all these trash
Give me a
candies down
bowl
here,
of
man.
those peanut butter M&Ms.
Peanut M&Ms, I think, might be one of the best.
Hell yeah,
candies.
they were great,
So
man.
when we go to the theater, I'll have the popcorn, and then I'll throw the peanut M&Ms in there. It's freaking amazing. I recommend
Twix.
it.
We got Twix. Yeah, Twix boys.
Twix. Okay, so Twix and Kit Kats. Twix and Kit Kats used to be some of the greatest tasting candy on the planet.
Yeah.
Whatever they've done in the last quarter century has changed the taste of it. It doesn't taste as good as it used to.
Man.
Yeah, the news is
I
out.
hate all that stuff now. Honestly,
DeJounte Murray suffered a season-ending torn Achilles. Damn.
Far out.
His career
that's
is
not
over.
just season-ending, man. That
might be career-ending.
Yeah. Well, look, it's the second of or first. Well, for me, it's the start of February. He's back. What? January next year, man. Halfway through another season. So. I really liked that player, to be honest.
$100,000. If you have to go with something reliable too, is $100,000. $100,000 is really good candy.
Man,
I only eat it during Halloween. But
one
anyways,
more, last one. Reese's. Do you guys?
Reese's will always be the staple. Yeah, people love
peanut.
Reese's.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone loves
get a
Reese's.
little bit of that here.
There's no one here that doesn't love it. There's no one around here that doesn't eat Reese's Pieces.
The only weird,
really?
I've come to find this. Only weird people avoid beer, chicken wings, pizza, and like chocolate and peanut butter. Like if you're avoiding all of those things, it's a little weird.
Why are you trying to be healthy, bud?
Okay, hold on.
It's got gluten in it. I don't want my dick flying off. It's got gluten in it.
Look, this is going to come off, insensitive, but
That's a South Park joke, Gerald. You know that's a South Park joke.
How do you not drink alcohol?
Oh, look at that. His dick's flying off.
Yeah, well, I think...
I know why.
Yeah.
But not everybody can control their alcohol consumption.
Yes.
Look, I understand people have celiac disease. It's a very serious ailment. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody with celiac disease. But if you choose not to eat gluten, something going on there.
Boys,
even broccoli screams. Even broccoli screams when you take it out of the ground.
Bro, like if you eat, because I've gone down this vegetarian path. I started looking at gluten-free stuff. Man, it is disgusting, Sean. It's unedible, man. I don't know how people do it.
It's gross. I don't even understand how people buy the organic shit anymore, brother.
Yeah,
it's like
it's made in the same place,
$25, $30 for
for organic, lettuce and shit.
Like half a loaf of bread. Yeah.
And the organic is made next to the other shit. Like
I don't understand.
All the same joint. Yeah, that whole thing's a gimmick, man. That organic crap, that's rubbish, man. How do you make organic lettuce and then normal lettuce? I mean, what's going on?
It's like when I'm not sure what you guys have in Australia, Mark, but here we have garbage and we have recycling. Now, yes. So, that is a bullshit scam because recycling and garbage Go to the same place, folks. It
Yeah,
all ends up
that's
at the
right.
same place.
And you can
Going
chuck
through
it
the
in any
same
bin you want.
process, yes. And you
Yeah,
throw it in any bin you want, and that's where it goes. It all goes to the same place. But they want to fuck us around by explaining how recycling is good for the environment.
yeah.
I always love what George Carlin said about human consumption and greediness when he said, "The Earth will adapt. It'll be the Earth and plastic."
He said that the
Or-
Earth will be fine, the people won't.
Yes.
We'll be gone.
Mm.
And he was very adamant about now everybody goes to the mall and gets shoes with lights in them and all this stuff. And this was way before any of this recent stuff. George Carlin died in 2008. He was saying this stuff in the 90s when apparently the 90s was one of the best decades America's ever had. It was the birth of the internet. It was music was amazing. It's kind of the birth of grunge. It was the birth of hip hop, even though they had been around, but that's when it became mainstream. And then you had, I think that was the last decade where politics weren't so encompassing. It just was. It would people could buy a house without killing themselves.
Remember what Austin? Remember Austin Powers? The 70s and the 80s. There's a blackout and a flock of seagulls. That's about it.
Everyone thinks the past was better. I think that's where that kind of comes from as well.
I'm sorry, but I still laugh my ass off anytime somebody sends me the Austin Powers in the cart trying to do a 3-point turn in a 4-inch radius of room.
Throw me a bone, why don't you? Dr. Evil is
oh god.
My friend said it best. He said Mike Myers has done films where it doesn't stop. You're just laughing over and over and over.
Well, I see. I have a strong opinion that Wayne's World 2 is better than Wayne's World 1, but that's a minority.
Don't do it.
I'll tell you what. When they try to do this,
when that dude is playing Jim Morrison and he looks nothing like Jim Morrison, that was hilarious. And then you've got
I'm gonna watch it again.
What's his name? Tim. Help me out here, Joe. He played Sammy Davis Jr. Tim
Meadows,
yeah. Tim Meadows played Sammy Davis Jr. in The Dreamers. Yeah, you have to watch it again, Mark.
All right, done.
I think you're a cool cat, man. It's that scene.
Go ahead, Joe.
The scene when they're doing his sphincter says what to walk in. He's like, you want me to say what? Like I don't get it. And they're like, you ready?
Man, you
that's the part. That's what I'm talking about. Is Mike Myers is a comedic. We use the word genius.
Look, when he came up with that line that Rip Taylor said that I had a dream with Jim Morrison and a half naked Indian and told me to come to work.
We got to do a movie view here at some point, but I don't know. Are we going to get docked for the copyrights? We can't do shit, Mark.
I don't know. That would be great. That would be great if you did like a Wayne's World 2 watch party.
I don't look at Wayne's World 1 or 2 separate. It's just a continuous.
It's like continuous.
They're too good. Okay, Same thing with the Austin Powers thing. They're not. He's too funny. He is too funny. You want to see another funny movie that's a standalone. So I Married an Axe Murderer. You want to die laughing? Watch that one. That was like the beginning. Gotcha. I'd be crying himself to sleep on this huge pillow. That just He with that gargantuan cranium. Like, who comes up with this? Like, he's just comic genius, and that's an official one. That's like Tom Brady making the Hall of Fame, guaranteed.
Well, what would you say is your favorite comedy from the 90s, Joe?
Well, the one that I almost hyperventilated and cried, dying laughing was Happy Gilmore.
Okay.
Yeah, man, well said.
Oh my
My
God!
dad, man, whenever he sees that, he thinks of me because
when
of
he
how
pulled
funny I found that.
the second Carl Weathers pulls out that hand,
Bro,
I could not stop laughing for an
Just-
hour, the
yeah.
whole hour. So that was the day of my orientation at State, San Diego State. I was with my friend Tony and her mom. Her mom and I drove from Central California down to San Diego. It was a 9-hour drive in a Toyota Corolla, and if it wasn't them, I would have been a disaster because 9 hours shouldn't have taken that long. But again, I was thankful that they took me there. So we get to orientation. We go through campus. Freaking campus was amazing. We were happy. I'm like, yeah, this is going to work. Then we end up getting a hotel. Ironically, coincidentally, the same hotel I ended up getting a job a year and a half later. So we're in the hotel room. We're getting ready to go to bed. And my friend Tony's mom goes, so you guys want to like kind of watch a movie and go to bed? I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah. Happy Gilmore. Yeah, sounds right. Let's do it.
Yeah, gold.
And I mean, the poor lady could not sleep for basically an hour and a half. We were laughing so hard. I just couldn't stop laughing. And then Tony was laughing and she was laughing because I was laughing. I was laughing because she's laughing. Probably one of the best movie experiences I ever had was in a hotel room with a mom and a daughter in the other bed.
Because you didn't expect it. And you
no, not at all. I
remember having that experience.
So see, I mean, I knew who Sandler was, and I knew he was funny. I listened to his album during the All-Star week. I was picked to go to the All-Star week for East and West, where I was from. Right, so they had these new dorms at the local university that they had just opened, and then we were gonna basically commiserate the new dorms, and we were going to stay there for the week. It was like going to camp, football camp. So that whole week, we were staying there, which happened to be just 10 minutes from my house. So it was kind of cool. It was kind of like getting a little pre-college test. So that whole week, we were listening to that Adam Sandler album, laughing our ass off, listening to all his funny songs and tapes and all that. So I knew who Sandler was very, very, very well. But that movie was like, that was the beginning of the movie side of Adam Sandler. It was just so hilarious to the point where it's a vivid memory of my experience of watching this amazing film just absolutely floor us in terms of laughter. And another reason why the 90s were so good. I think SNL was the best in the 90s.
Yeah.
You had Jim Carrey. You had Something About
Seinfeld.
Mary. Seinfeld, you had Friends. Friends there's always a discussion about Friends.
I'll never forget. I got to admit that's a great story. It's weird though. The funniest
good story
I remember Adam Sandler was when he played Carmine Wiener in the Coneheads.
Oh, bruh.
Hey,
I was laughing for like a good 20 minutes.
That's another great movie.
That experience you had, Joe, with the mum and daughter there, where you see an unexpected movie and you just remember it. I had that as well with two others. I had that with Adam Sandler. I remember with Happy Gilmore. We used to only get one movie a week here in Australia on a Sunday night at 8:30. And I remember watching it in my parents' room, and I couldn't sleep the whole night. It was so funny. But another one I've had with that, Sean, was Hangover. I didn't know anything about The Hangover because I think it was a big movie at the movies, but not super popular. And I remember someone telling me about it, and I sat down. I was absolutely smashed the previous night. Sat down about 12 p.m. Midday the next day and chucked on Hangover. Man, that blew me away. That movie, that was great, man.
Yeah, I know, man. So Bradley Cooper is a really good actor. I loved him in Silver Linings Playbook.
Yes, great
I've
actor,
really,
man.
Ed Helms is really funny too. He played Stu. I'm not a huge fan of Zach Galifianakis, but he's around a lot
He
of
was good in that. Yeah,
talented people, and he was good. So yeah, The Hangover was funny, man. The Hangover
hell
was
yeah.
funny, especially when Stu's dealing with.
The
I'm not sure how to describe this woman nicely, Joe.
is it old mate's the what's her name? The blonde-haired lady's character.
When you slept with the bartender, boom.
Yeah, she fucked a
It's like suck my,
bartender.
you know what?
She fucked a
Oh
bellhop.
yeah,
She
yeah,
fucked
yeah.
a bellhop.
Yeah,
She
Using
wasn't.
of the Rogaine.
You don't
That was
understand.
a
She
You
slept with
don't
half
like
expensive
he's
line.
like Stu was such a sib. You don't understand. Melissa reads her statements.
Ah, dude,
You know what's sad is
the
that
chat's going off here.
those
All these
relationships
movies are great.
exist. I see them once in a while.
Oh,
I see them
Joe.
once in a while. It is really bad.
Oh, I wish we could play that
Yeah.
that going away song, Joe. Brr, 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 brr. It's like a
Paging
flute. It's
doctor.
like-
Doctor.
Yeah, see you
That's how
later,
you know
doctor.
that's the threshold, Mark. That's when that right
Yeah.
around that area is when things start to change. Right after that, we got
Yeah, I
that.
know, boys.
Yeah, well, The Hangover, and then a couple of years later, it was This Is the End. And if you made This Is the End today, I
No
mean,
chance.
my
Yeah.
God. But I mean, good luck trying to cancel Danny McBride. That's all I'm gonna say, because he's got
Yeah,
a following.
He was great in Tropic Thunder too. He was the
Yeah,
pyrotechnics guy.
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Just blow shit up.
that was the second best line in that whole film. I probably don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'll figure it
The
out.
best line was Nick Nolte, man, when he's like,
Oh.
"I wrote the book," and then Tom Cruise, "You're a great American. Now shut the f up and let me do my job."
Tom Cruise is. I don't know where Joe went, but Tom Cruise
He'll
was
be back.
brilliant in Tropic
Oh,
Thunder.
mate, we sent a few messages on that the other day, and yeah, honestly, Sean, it was that you didn't know it was him
Mhm,
unless someone told you, man, because they didn't
mhm.
advertise that he was in it either. And
No,
it was one of those, and then you sort of got wind that he was in that movie, pardon me, and people went and saw it just for that. But man, just talking about these, yeah, Les Grossman, what a time to have been alive and seen those movies in the 90s and early 2000s, man. Because it just won't, it's not, the kids of this era don't get that, that sort of humor that we got, and the
no,
way
man.
to look at life and laugh at life and take the piss out of things. I mean, you can't even say certain words now, but then it seems like you can say other things, or you know, pornographic materials, a lot more prevalent now. So it's just funny how it works, man. But feels like there's a bit of winds of change at the
Mhm.
moment with what's going on in places like America. So see what happens. It doesn't need to go all the way back to what it was, but man, we need to have a bit of fun, hey. And these comedies were just great, and it was just one after another. And look at it all, like the chat's naming them, bro. Like Something About Mary, Meet the Parents, Anchorman, Pineapple Express. You can just
Mhm.
go, man. And it just got to, and it capped out in 2010, or sort of around that time, or even
Around 13, yeah,
yeah.
around
And then it
13.
bang, none of it since. And it's like, and you watch comedies now, man. I watched this comedy with bloody Sydney Sweeney and some dude. He was in Top Gun Maverick. It was based here in Australia. I can't remember what it was. mate, it was woeful, bro. And I'm just like, far out. Is this what a comedy is actually called these days? So anyway, what do we do?
She's
But
just not a pretty face. Like if you gave her some good material, she's a good actress. But yeah, that was I
yeah,
saw it too. It was called Summer something, Mark. Yeah.
yeah, and it was based in Australia. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a shocker, man. But I don't, yeah, she's wow, she's a very attractive, lady.
Yeah,
But
she's also talented given the right
yes,
script.
yeah, definitely. Which is important. But man, wow, super hot. But hey, just quickly, what are you
Well,
thinking?
yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go
Well, I was
ahead.
going to ask you, did you want to talk about movies more? I could ask you about
No, no,
tomorrow's
no,
game.
no. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Ask away, man.
Yeah. Well, what are you thinking tomorrow, Sean? Like we've sort of touched on it a bit earlier in terms of New York, but for me, yeah, like without AD, obviously it's a challenge. But we've talked about LeBron playing well there in the past. I don't know, bro. I like teams that step up when there's adversity. Like a player like Lionel Messi. I've watched his whole career at Barca. When he went out, other players stepped up. AD's out now. Can we get this win, man? They're a good squad. Like we said before, how much would we love to have a couple of their players sprinkled into our team? Do you give us a chance tomorrow? Or are you thinking no hope? So
Well, I mean, so the Knicks are basically short of Carl Anthony Towns. They have to play a little bit of small ball at the five. I'm hoping we can take advantage of that. It's just I'm kind of concerned that you're going to play Jackson Hayes. That's a problem.
yeah,
So Mitchell
yeah, that's a real
Robinson,
problem.
yeah, I gotta. We'll see the injury report tomorrow, but if Josh Hart doesn't play, that's huge because he has the potential to swing the game, especially if his shot's going down. But mostly, he's really aggressive getting rebounds. Mark, he can average a double double. He did it when he was a Laker. He's done it. He did it as a Pelican. He's doing it as a
He's a
Nick.
super sound player, isn't he? Like
Yeah, he is. I would have rather given up Kyle Kuzma than Josh Hart in the
in
AD
hindsight.
trade. Well, not even in hindsight. I mean,
Yeah, oh
yeah,
yeah, sorry, yeah.
at the time, yeah.
Good
But I
point,
mean,
man.
yeah, it is what it is. But I mean, no doubt about it. So
Man.
he's the heart and soul of that team. He really is. He's like, so if the Knicks were kind of having a rebirth of that 90s thing, you would have to say that if you're going to compare, like Josh Hart is the John Starks of this team, even
Gotcha.
though Cat might be Pat Hewing.
Yeah.
So
The star,
we'll
the
see. We'll see if Hart doesn't play
Brunson's a gritty
tomorrow.
player.
I think the Lakers.
Bridges.
I'd give them a puncher's chance, man. But like I said, Mark, I'm worried that the Lakers are going to get run out of the garden in that first quarter because it's a
Yeah, I
prime
know,
time.
man.
It's a prime time game, and the Knicks are feeling themselves, and they probably want to just hammer us.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, Cat, to his credit, he can light it up, man. That dude's not a bad player. Like I don't know if he's reached his full potential. Probably keen to get your thoughts on that with Cat. But when you consider that he might be, I don't know, man. This is what I've heard anyway. Percentage wise, the best big man 3-point shooter of all time. Has he really met his potential? And just on that, Sean, if I can ask you as well, your opinion on the trade from Minnesota for him, because it hasn't worked out for Minnesota, bro, at all, man. And they're still okay. Like Edwards, man, is like I don't know. Edwards, if you look at his numbers, Sean, and that, I don't know what you feel about him, but he's sort of not underrated, but he's just, dude, he's like in the 40% for threes now. I think he's the fourth. He's definitely in the top 10 for scorers in the league. He's carrying the team, bro. And they're not well, they're in the top 8 in the West, which is very tough for one player to carry a team that far. Look, I've gone hot and cold on Ant-Man. I've seen him sometimes play and I've thought, what's the hype about here? But then you watch him in other games, and you're like, far out. That's the hype, because he can jump on guys' faces and he's shooting threes like Curry now. Matt, like, they didn't do him any favors with that trade. I know Cat wanted to go and their cap issues and blah, 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 but far out. If he was still there, man, they'd be right up there in the West, I reckon. But I don't know if then Cat's move to New York means he's going to be successful there either. New York's a funny market, man. And I still think they've got a few holes in that team. I still think there's a couple of stronger teams. Obviously, by standings, there's a couple stronger teams in the East. What do you think about Cat as a player? Has he reached his potential? And that trade, Sean, who
Yeah,
did it
that
work out
great.
for who?
Yeah, great questions, Mark. To the first one, yeah, I don't. I actually think that I don't think Cat's really reached his potential yet at all. I'm impressed with his physical presence this year. He's really
Yeah,
gone to work, especially on his back, which I know
fine.
is his back's a lot stronger now, and he
Yeah,
is the best 3-point shooter above 7 feet ever. He
man,
can he can he
that's
can have
insane.
that he can have that crown. That's true.
Dirk wasn't too bad.
Yeah, no, Dirk wasn't too bad either. But like Dirk's one-legged flamingo from 24 feet
German flamingo.
is indefensible.
Mm.
It's indefensible. That
Yeah,
move is
when you watch it
indefensible.
now, you're right.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's one of the top 10 go-to moves of all time in the NBA. Like
Yeah.
Dirk worked on that shot for years. You could tell.
Hell yeah, I'd love to go
A
through that.
lot. So 3 of the top 10 go-to shots. Sorry to drift off, Mark. I'll answer the
No,
trade
please,
question,
yeah.
but yeah, 3 of
Great to
the
see you go
best
back.
10 top 10 go-to moves happened in that era. Actually 4. So you've got AI with the crossover. You've got Dirk's 24-foot one-legged flamingo. You've also got Tim Duncan's 18-foot bank shot.
Oh, bro. I love doing that, man, trying to bank it off
And
man,
then
what a touch.
Kobe's turnaround step pivot fade away.
These moves, man.
So we got back to basketball a little bit, huh?
Yeah,
and
apologies.
and that's what made Kobe's move a little different because Michael was so strong and his hands were so big. All he had to do was just back you down, turn around, and shoot. At times, Kobe had to develop that step, turn, pivot, and then
Man.
over you. And that took years for him to develop too.
Can I
But
just quickly ask Kevin Durant?
there's nothing you could do about it. There's nothing you could like the one move that stands out as far as that move is concerned is when the Lakers are playing the Blazers and the winner takes the Pacific title. So the winner gets home court advantage. And Ruben Patterson is all over Kobe Bryant. I mean, he is in his kitchen. He is so close to him. He probably could smell what he ate for dinner. And Kobe turn, pivot, step, no, turn, pivot, and right over him. And it went in. And the Lakers won.
Shout out to Cobes, man.
That was to go into overtime. Then the big one was 1 second left. Perfect pass from the inbound pass. Turnaround shot. Nothing but net. Win the division. Get the second seed. And at that time, I thought, wow, this could mean something. And then, of course, 0.4 happens a few weeks later. They beat Minnesota, which was really good that year. And I'm like, we're going to win our 4th championship in 5 years.
Yeah, not to be.
And then it was
Speaking of
Is
Minnesota,
that play Detroit in the finals, boys?
yeah, lost in 5.
Gotcha.
But
When we had Malone and stuff.
you know what's wild about that is that
Shit.
obviously, so Knicks got the best player in the trade, so I think they won it. And that's a general rule of the trade. The team that gets the best player in the trade usually ends up winning the trade. In this instance, that's true.
Interesting.
Well, also what Minnesota did was, Mark, they cut off their nose to spite their face because what in doing this, in trying to insert Julius Randle,
Mm.
you've you've negated the impact that Naz Reid can have because Naz Reid is not playing the way Naz Reid can play,
Was. Yeah.
and Ant
Man.
isn't. And like you said with Ant, there isn't a guy today in the NBA because Steph's game kind of fell off a cliff that gets triple teamed anymore. But Ant gets triple teamed.
Yeah.
He goes beyond the half court line at times. At times, teams will pick him up on a double or triple, drag triple. But yeah, Mark, it like I don't think that trade worked out for Minnesota. Unless it was for unless they did it because nobody's going to take Rudy, which I also think is
Ye-
kind of the open secret in the
Yeah.
NBA that nobody will take Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
Maybe in it as an expiring, somebody would take him. But you're not going to take him when he's still got years on that contract because we know who Rudy is. Rudy is a very good regular season player. He
Yeah.
could be an
You could
excellent
barely
regular
play
season
him in the
player,
finals.
defensive player of the year candidate. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you can't play him in the playoffs because with switches, Rudy is very easily picked on and exploited, and your
Absolutely true
chances of
about that.
winning. Yeah.
Mm.
But Utah's discovered that, and so have the Wolves. So I think, unless it was to clear some kind of space,
Yeah.
which I don't really understand. Again, I, you know, I don't know why you would do that because
Yeah.
you took away Carl Anthony Towns' impact, but now you've also taken away Naz Reid's impact.
Great point. And when you draft someone number 1 as well, to trade them for nothing seems very strange. There's something was going on there that we don't know about potentially.
Yeah, and
What the
Dante
relationship between Cat
DiVincenzo
and Ed.
being so upset that he got traded, like. Again,
Yeah.
Joe talking about
And now he's injured.
the butthurt generation.
Yeah.
Oh, you traded me! You traded me,
Yeah.
Tibbs.
Yeah. Because I
I
had all
couldn't
my
play
mates
40
here.
minutes for you, Tibbs, and you traded me.
Yeah, that DiVincenzo, whatever, bro. I'm over him. Joe, you're
You're
on mute.
You're on mute, brother.
is he still whining?
Yeah,
No.
and now he's injured.
Yeah, he's
But-
injured again.
Who isn't injured in the NBA?
Yeah.
Miles
softest-
Bridges. Mikhail Bridges, sorry. That's the only guy who's like never injured.
Yeah, the softest, wackiest, just pathetic mental midgets I've ever seen in sports is NBA players now.
No, you're not wrong. It
But
doesn't take long.
I want to start talking a little bit about tomorrow's game before we head out here.
We were talking about it.
So since I wasn't here to talk about it, I want to throw my 2 cents in.
We'll just
Mr.
reiterate
Grice.
we're talking about it.
You don't call the shots here, buddy.
I always wondered where that phrase came from. My 2 cents. Like, what did 2 cents used to get you?
Yeah.
I like the
great point.
nickel's
Man.
worth of free advice.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. And we don't have nickels.
What's
here,
a
mate.
nickel? Exactly. Yeah.
That had to have been in the early 1900s when a
Yeah.
nickel mattered. But easy questions here before we head out. Who do you think is going to win tomorrow?
The Knicks.
Mark?
Wow. Yeah, you know I'm a nice guy. LA.
Really? Okay, explain why.
No. Yeah. Did you want the truth or you wanted my Yeah. Look, man. I don't know. Like I said to to Sean before. I've always looked at when a player's out, like AD, for other players to step up. You know, I've said this before about Messi. When Messi was out of the Barcelona team, that's when other players could shine, because they do take a lot of attention when you've got, your superstar player there. So why not, man? If we can put a full team performance together, why not? I don't think we play that bad without AD. Obviously, AD being there would be of benefit and of help. But if LeBron, LeBron's always talking about how good he is at Madison Square Garden. You got other players there that always want to shine, like AR and Rui, etc. I don't know, man. I'm more optimistic than realistic at this point. But I hope we get the win because I love winning in New York, and it's a Sunday in Australia. I don't want my day ruined by it. So we'll see how we go.
Well, they're on a 5-game winning streak right now. They beat the Nuggets previously,
they are.
the Grizzlies before then, the Kings before then.
You going New York?
I think it's going to be New York. I don't know if it's going to be close or not. These guys have a habit of quitting when they know they're going to lose. So I don't know. But yeah, I think New York's going to win. But they can make up for that 4-2 record that I wanted by beating LA in LA. I was hoping they could beat Philly and get out of that rut and come back definitely for sure at 4-2.
Yeah.
They're going to have to make up for that Philly loss by beating the Clippers at home because I think tomorrow they're going to lose. But we'll be here tomorrow, folks, bright and early, at least for some of you out there in the world. It's a 5:30 Pacific Standard Time game, which means it's 8:30 party time for Sean. Although, I don't know, you party pretty much all night anyways, right, Sean?
Yes.
So it doesn't matter what time. 5:30 our time. And or 8:30 New York time.
We're party town for a little while. Then we go to Pound Town.
By the way, congratulations on
my guy.
said
Call
Tom
me up when
there,
you're in
and
Pound Town.
congratulations on Scherzer. I haven't given you the
the 40-year-old savior for the Toronto Blue Jays.
He's gonna see that the issues with him possibly going somewhere else was his ego won't let him be a 4th or 5th starter. He wants to be at least a number 2. So he's going to probably be able to do that there in Toronto. And other than me wanting Bregman to stay in Houston so that they can muster one more World Series run so the Dodgers can wax their faces all over the freaking field, I wouldn't mind seeing an LA-Toronto Blue Jay World Series. I really wouldn't. I think that would be poetic if they can do that.
There's a lot of Blue Jays. Believe it or not, Joe, there are a lot of Blue Jays fans in Southern California.
Look, the Blue Jays were very popular in the early 90s, even in California.
Those uniforms were also.
We liked Joe Carter, Paul Molitor. I mean, there was Cito Gaston was a very good manager.
They made that big trade with the Padres.
Are they a big team? Like in the McGriff? You've got New York.
Well, Toronto was a force to be reckoned with in the late 80s, early 90s. Oh, absolutely. And
yeah.
It might have been a Canadian trifecta had the 94 strike not gone through, because the Montreal Expos, which I'm still sad even to this day that they moved to Washington.
Dude, you serious?
Yeah,
that was their name.
Unfortunate. Yeah.
What happened to Expo?
They couldn't make it work financially, so they moved to Washington, became the Nationals.
Dude.
Yeah. But they were Felipe Alou had a juggernaut on his hands in '94, and they had the best record. They had the best record going in that year, and unfortunately, we never got a chance to see what Canada was starting to come up in baseball, and unfortunately got stifled. And then the following year, everything went back to the Atlanta and Cleveland's, and then of course the Yankees ended up doing their thing the last half decade of that decade. But again,
it's
season,
Joe. gonna watch it. Learn a lot from you with the Dodgers and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I'll
yeah.
go for it.
Baseball. Look,
It's great, man. The history and stuff is awesome. I love it.
It is. It
I
has.
don't know much.
It has taken me a few months here to get back into shape for baseball.
Yeah.
Because I have not had any baseball people in my life. Very few.
Gotcha.
Because the attention spans of the deadheads in my life, they'll pay attention to Disneyland rides, but they won't pay. But they'll say baseball is boring. I'm like, you go to Disneyland to wait in line for 15 hours to go on for 1 minute, and baseball's boring, you dumb shits. But I've been fortunate to be around some baseball people recently.
These are the
Empire
people in
Jet
your
being
life.
one. The Dodgers doing what they've been doing. So the beautiful thing is it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. And the knowledge of baseball is going to be brought to you all in several different snips. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, I want to thank everyone for being here for the Lakers Fast Break, Joe Soro Nightcap. Yes, I'm going to try to do this on every off game as much as I can. The only reason why, guys, I don't do it is because time is of the essence. It's just not there all the time. I have to be places sometimes in the evening too. So, but I will do my best as the season kind of progresses here, as well as the baseball season. I'll be throwing out some things, and I made it easier for Sean and Mark to be here. So that was good. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Folks, thanks for being here, listening on the show. We will be back tomorrow for the playback. If you guys are going to be available, come on by. I've officially come off the VIP list so that as many people can be on there as possible, because I can watch the game anywhere I am. So again, thank you again, folks. Have a great evening. Have a great Friday night. Have some good drinks on us. Until next time, we'll see you next time.